Hello. Oh my god. um, might be getting a call, and so I turned my notifications up. But it's 11:11, so half my friends just texted me to let me know. Uh, so cute. I might have to turn that down. It's so funny. Um, yeah. So Saturday night, not sure how it'll go, but I looked so cute today that I thought, why waste it? Because my plans kind of got pushed off. Um, might hop off stream at some point to go do what I was gonna do, but it's seeming more like I'll be home. So I thought, why not stream? I also really wanted to do like red lighting, but it did not look good. It was like very unclear and just too dark. It kind of ruined the look. So I'm doing like a green and red rotating light, and I think the green looks pretty good, and the red being with the green gives it a red hue without completely dulling me out. So if the light gets annoying, obviously just let me know. But for now, that's what we're gonna do. And before we get too into this conversation, we gotta roll the ads. So unfortunately, I will be right back. Thank you. Um, I will be right back after 3 minutes of ads. So take this time to stretch, use the bathroom, get a snack, have a drink, light a smoke, do what you gotta do. But we got 3 minutes to do it. So BRB. Okay, hello, hello. We are back. We are back. Um, um, texting you out loud. Such a dork. Me, I'm a dork. No pressure to join. Just wanted to let you know. Okay. Sweet. So yeah, let me plug this back in. Put it like this. Okay. And scene. So today, what's going on? I left a bunch of tabs open. I guess I haven't used my laptop since you know, the last stream, which is not good. This is something I think about a lot. How when I was more into creativity and I didn't spend as much time on my phone, I was on my laptop a lot. But I was like, you know, writing and kind of, I would say, researching in a way because I would like really prepare for my streams and know what I was going to talk about on stream by kind of like seeing what was going on in the world, what was relevant, and like different topics that we could discuss, and editing photos, making music. Like I was on my laptop a lot. And now, like I said, I have not used my laptop since the last stream. A little influx of people. What's up, everybody? So that to me is very sad. What the fuck am I doing? So anyway, how's it going? If you're new here, welcome. Hey, my friends are here. That's all that matters. But I appreciate the lurkers as well. So yeah, I went to the movies to watch a live stream of an opera at the Met today, which is why I got dressed up. It was all fancy, you know. It was super fun, and I think I was, to say the least, a little overdressed, and also a little young for the crowd. And my baby over here is probably thinking, yeah, okay, you young grandma, but yes, no, it was like actual grandmas over that theater, but you know, it was a good time. You don't really talk to people during the movies, but I would talk to them anyway. That was kind of a weird thing for me to say. To say you don't talk to them during movies, as if I wouldn't talk to like older people. I totally would. I went with someone who was older, you know, like twice my age or whatever. So it was fun. It was cool. We saw Arabella, and I guess what they're doing is they're having these live operas at the Met, and exactly, and live streaming it to different movie theaters around the country. It's super cool, and I do highly recommend it. And there's a few coming up that we are planning on going to as well. There's one, I can't remember the name. It's like The Adventures of Cavalier and Kay or something like that. And it's based off of a book that was written in the 2000s, like I think the year 2000, that was adapted into an opera. We, you know, just did a little bit of research during intermission, didn't get a ton of information, but it's basically about fighting fascism in America, but it's a historical fiction. So it's based on the Nazis. It's so funny because I'm like, what am I allowed to say on the internet now? I don't know. I literally don't know. But it looked really good. And it was like, had some superhero aesthetic to it, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because Antifa is superheroes, you know. So we want to go see that. And then there's one about Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera, which isn't going to be on until May. So the Met, obviously when they're doing an opera, it's like um, same as like Broadway or any play has like air time, not air, it's not air time, stage time. It has a run. So the opera will be going on for like a couple months, but they just live stream it one night or one. It was daytime today, but one day. And I feel like growing up, opera wasn't prevalent to my generation necessarily, but I always knew what it was and I knew what it sounded like. And they made reference to operas in modern media, especially like cartoons love to do operas and stuff. I'm remembering a specific episode of Hey Arnold that was like they did an opera, right? So it was cool. And then when I was in the hospital and I had nothing to do but read books, I read an entire biography about Joan Sutherland, who was one of the greatest opera singers of her time. Nice, thank you. This one was German, which was interesting. So, gosh, I have a lot to say about this whole opera situation. So, I read about Joan Sutherland. This was like 2 years ago, and I read it in a matter of days. Like, I don't find biographies to be very interesting because after a while you're like, wow, we are still talking about the same person. And I think it's the sheer length of some biographies that really like, kind of that was really big vibration, but it wasn't me. Um, is that coming from someone else's house? That is so crazy. I can literally hear someone's phone vibrating. That's so crazy. Anyways, Joan Sutherland. It was a book from the 60s. Amen. It was a book from the 60s, so it was like pretty chunky and it was probably over 200 pages, but the text was fairly large in comparison to like your standard novel. And that's what it's the Tetris, got it. And the spacing was different. So even though it was like the same size and length of any other biography, it read a lot faster and it was clearly not as many words. So I didn't have literally any distractions. So I read it, but I didn't get through any of the biographies that I've tried to read in the last like 10 years. Like, I tried George Clinton's, got halfway through. It was super interesting too. I mean, the guy is very interesting, obviously. Had a great life, and it was super fun to read about like all these different musicians he worked with and all the places he was. Awesome. Never finished it. Neil Peart. Um, it's not necessarily a biography, it's more of a memoir. I still only got halfway through that one as well. Curtis Mayfield returned it to the library before I finished it. And it's very rare that I do that. I do have a book I'm returning without reading, but I got like halfway through his biography and I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't care. And I feel bad. Like I said, it's like, I don't know, something about just reading about one person that much is just, I don't know. I guess it's maybe a little boring. I'd watch a biography documentary about any of the, hell yeah, I do. I'd watch about any of them because I love what they do as people, but reading it feels a little tedious after a while, even gratuitous, if you will. So, Joan Sutherland was the last biography I read, and one of the only biographies that I've read. Let's be real. And so I was very intrigued by the opera. So when I came home, I was like, you know what? I want to listen to Joan Sutherland's recordings. So I did put some of it on. And it's a little, not crazy, but it's not unnerving. But it is a bit much to like listen to opera and operatic singing. Um, so I didn't really get into it. I listened to a few tracks. I was like, okay, like you miss a lot. She was Australian, but she didn't always sing in English because, like you said, like some of the best operas are Italian, and I just watched one in German, you know. So a lot of the operas are in another language, and so when you don't know what they're saying and you don't know what story it's telling because it's completely out of context and in a different language, it's a little harder to get into. But that was the last time that I explored any opera, right? It was 2 years ago after reading her biography. She was beautiful. Her birthday was November 7th. I can't remember what year, but she died on October 10th, 2010. She died 10/10/10. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like RIP, but also fucking sweet. So, um, oh my god, what up? We're talking about operas. Okay, have fun. What are you getting? I'm trading a crash for a dom. It's the official pick. Trading in a crash for a dom. So, yeah. Talking operas. So, Joan Sutherland died on 10/10/10. Super, super cool. Wow, that's so sweet, Dom. I love that. How nice. I'm glad you remember your first word. So, today, I went to the opera, and it was just kind of like my friends had invited me to go see it, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to spend time with you and do something different in theater. Like when do I don't I think the last time I was in a movie theater was like 2 years ago, seeing the new what's it called? The new Exorcist movie was not scary, was not really that good. Would not be surprised if they make another one and would not really see a point to it, but whatever. Um, yeah, so took the opportunity to go. Didn't really know what I was going to. I was like, is this a live opera or showing of an opera? So I'm watching this and I'm thinking that it's just like an old video of an opera. And then they get to intermission and this woman, the lead of this opera, walks out off stage into the back and somebody starts interviewing her immediately. So I'm blown away because at this point is when I realized, oh, this is a live stream of an opera that's going on right now. And also, you know what? I'm gonna try music category, even though I'm not actually making music right now. We're having a music discussion. So update, do a little music discussion. I don't know. I don't know if that counts, but we're gonna try it anyway. So this woman has been singing her heart out on stage for a straight hour and then immediately goes and does an interview, right? So there's a few shocking things about this is that one, how are you even talking? And two, she's speaking American English. She just sang that whole hour, which granted there was like one scene that she's not in. I think we missed the beginning, so I think there's a scene at the beginning she's not in, and then there's a scene towards the end of Act One that she's not in, but she was basically singing for an hour because musicals often will have like speaking parts or choruses or just breaks in the song and the singing. But in an opera, it is constant, consistent, you know? Because I think I guess this was the first opera I ever saw. And so just breath control, so impressive. Like, so crazy to watch. And for her to come off stage and she's speaking English and she has this like very nice tone to her voice. She did not sound the way that I expected her to sound. Um, it was just bizarre, bizarre. But that's part of what made the experience so cool. If you ever do get to go catch a live stream of a Met opera, highly recommend it. And I don't even think it matters like which one it is, but some of them sound better than others. Like Tristan and Leopold is an opera, apparently. And I remember when I was young, they made that into a movie. I think it's like Keira Knightley or something. Someone. So it's it's cool. They have a lot of different stories. And I didn't know anything about Arabella. Like, I had no idea what I was walking into, and I'm glad I walked into it. So they're doing interviews, and you can literally watch the crew set up the next act, and they're like cleaning up and tearing down the stage and setting it back up. She said she speaks German. I doubt she uses Duolingo. This shit is so unhelpful. I'm just playing chess at this point. But you get to like watch the crew, and he's doing different interviews. And they interview like the conductor, and they interviewed I think the stage director, and they had another intermission obviously because it's 3 acts, right? So they interviewed some more of the singers or the actors. What do you even call them? The operas. I don't know. It was so fucking cool. It was so fucking cool. And Act One was like kind of slow, where you're like, oh boy, in a 3-hour opera right now, 4 hours with intermission, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? Apparently, the opening scene is like a tarot reader, clairvoyant, coming to tell them their fortune, and I'm so bummed that we missed that, but we got concessions, Yeah, yeah. Thank God for subtitles. And I can't, like, that's the thing. If you were to see the opera live, you would not really know what they were saying if you didn't speak that language. So I think it's very inclusive for them to be streaming it and have captions so that people like me who don't speak more than one language can actually know what's going on. And honestly, you could watch it and kind of infer what was happening, but it's nice for it to be like totally direct at the same time. So it was very cool. But Act Two was very much edge of your seat, super exciting, very hype. Um, I want more. I need to know how this ends. You know, um, it was awesome. And then another intermission, more interviews, etc. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so grateful they did that. Act Three was exactly what you thought it was going to be, but of course, I don't know when this particular opera was from, but it's old, and so I think things didn't seem well. I don't know. I don't know if things seemed as predictable, back then when there was just less media. First performance was 1933. It's set in Vienna, 1860, but it didn't go on until 1930s, I guess. Um, so cool, so cool. So I'm thinking like maybe when media wasn't as dense and there wasn't so much. Yeah, well, of course I'm psychic. um, I do think that back in the day, because they were just like consuming less, and there wasn't as many stories, and there wasn't remake after remake or inspiration. Well, everything's inspired by something, but I just think maybe it wasn't as predictable. But then again, I don't know. It is kind of it's just a predictable story, but it was fun, and it was super fun. And it inspired me to post about men simping because the fellows were simping for Arabella, and it was great to see. I decided to light this candle. Um, it, it was so fun. It was just so fun. It was so good. And I got a free hot dog. Got a free hot dog. Got a free hot dog. Don't tell anyone, but I got a free hot dog. Thank you. Because they gave me a hot dog. But I ordered a hot dog combo. And they're like, it'll be 5 minutes until you get the fries. And I was like, okay, I'll wait. And then the girl was bringing me my fries. And she had a hot dog with the fries. And I had a hot dog in my hand. And she gave me the hot dog and the fries. And I wasn't going to tell her that I already got my hot dog. Because I just paid almost $20 for fucking hot dog, fries, and a giant drink. Which was a medium, which is totally crazy. It's huge. And so I got a free hot dog. I didn't even eat it. It's in my fridge. I wasn't gonna waste it. I can't waste it. I might even eat it after the stream. I don't know. Maybe I'll have it for football tomorrow. But yeah, I got a free hot dog. Don't tell it. Don't tell it. But anyway, back to the opera. So, it was very awe-inspiring, and it makes you realize, like, I don't think anyone has as much talent as an opera singer. For real. Like, when it comes to music, or I guess specifically when it comes to music, yeah, no, literally, it was $18 for a hot dog, fries, and a big drink, and then I got a cheese sauce with it because I like cheese on my hot dogs. So that it was like $1.50 for the cheese. So it cost $18. So like, hell yeah, I'm not gonna fucking be like, yeah, you already gave me my hot dog. No, you owe me that hot dog. You should be giving everyone 2 hot dogs. That's crazy. So, anyways, um, when it comes to music and singing, I'm not like discrediting the talent of other musicians or artists, but when you talk opera, nothing compares. Literally nothing compares. Like, it's incredible what they're doing because again, they're like hardly taking a breath. They're singing line for line, word for word. A lot of times they're singing in a second language. One of the actors was French, and the one's American, and one is British, and one, like they didn't interview every single one of them, but and they're all singing in German, and they are acting and singing because I do feel like I've seen some Broadway, I've seen like musical movies. They rely so much, the operas rely so much on the big gestures and the movements and the expressions because it's all just one setting. And even with some Broadway musicals for sure do the same thing where it's like act one, act two, act three might be different scenes, but the whole act is one scene. But some of the shows will literally have stage crew come out on stage mid song and start rearranging and putting up backdrops and moving this and that. So they don't rely as heavy to tell the story with just the actors, if that makes sense. So it's really amazing what they do. It's really amazing. And it's not like dancing or anything, but it's really good. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. Really incredible. And I also, it was really funny because I guess I could find out how old she is if I could figure out. um, who it was in it. Um, okay. Because she's basically supposed to play like a young girl, right? Like, there's a point in the opera. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know she sang at the Olympics. Um, I can't, I don't, oh my God, I hate the New York Times. I don't know how to find her. She looked like a grown ass woman. She looked older than I am. But she's playing this like kind of young girl where it's 1860, she's single and has a bunch of suitors. That's like the plot of the opera. And at one point in, what do you call it? The show, I guess. She says like, I want to say goodbye to my girlhood. Or maybe she said childhood. I don't know. She said it multiple times where it's like, oh, this is literally like a child, like a 16 to 18-year-old girl getting sold off to marry, basically. But she's played by a woman who, once more, looks older than me. And I feel like you do need a lot of time to sort of train a voice like that. But Joan Sutherland started really early in her career. She started singing opera when she was a child, but her, your voice changes. So you don't want to get too integrated into what you're doing before your voice drops, basically. Man or woman, It's obviously more extreme with a man, but I didn't always sound like this when I was a kid. But it did make me think like obviously operas are not as popular as they used to be because we stream and we go to movie theaters and people aren't going out for live shows like they used to. But there's still all these incredible performers that I've never heard of and will maybe never see again. And then they're showing like some of the shows that are coming up and they're like listing names, literally global names, like people from all over singing opera. And so it's crazy that so many different people are being cast in one show in some language. I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. Where I'm sure they come here to do the show, and who knows how much they get paid or whatever. But it was just, oh, wow. Who knew the opera would be so interesting? I didn't really expect it at all. So I was thinking like, dang, these people are all older. They're like my age, maybe older. And sure, that means they're the best of the best. They have all the experience. They've been doing shows for a long time. But I also kind of thought like, ooh, I wonder if opera's going so out of style. Obviously, it's not going completely out of style. The Met is still doing it, and they're live streaming it, and the theater was packed. The very front rows, there wasn't really anyone in there, but the whole back of the theater was completely packed. So obviously, there's like, but once more, we were the youngest people in there, and I'm not that young, if you ask Crash. So just saying that it does seem like it's a dying art form. It was always referenced when I was growing up, but like that was again my first opera in 30 years of life that I ever really watched. I can only name one opera singer, and it's Joan Sutherland because I happened to find her book and happened to read it. Um, I was thinking that maybe Gen Z isn't really doing opera, right? Because why would they have not? I mean, I get why not, but at the same time, why would they have not chosen? Which she was amazing at what she was doing. you know, I'm not trying to discredit her or talk down about her. but everyone in that musical was probably way older than they were intended to be, right? Um, because there's even like a, I don't want to give anything away, but Arabella's dad is like, looks like her grandpa, even though Arabella looks older than me, but Arabella's supposed to only be, say, 18. So is her dad only supposed to be like 50, 60? I don't know. Why didn't they get younger people to play it? And I'm like wondering if maybe there aren't younger people to play it. Like some of my generation maybe was raised on opera, but my generation isn't raising anybody on opera. So it just feels like kind of sad in a way to see that there were no young people on the production. But again, I get it. It's the more experienced, the more professional, it's the Met. You're not going to have just anyone perform at the Met, right? So you don't want to trust some young kid who's only been singing opera for 3, 4 years, or, just transitioned into their voice or whatever. It requires something more bold. But it did make me wonder if maybe Gen Z is not getting into opera and maybe there aren't an option. So, are those opera singers? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But yeah, it was really good. I'm excited to go again. I would 100% support that. Maybe I would rethink concessions, and I would still dress up to the nines when I went, even though I was the only one who was really like dressed up. I don't care. I never care about that. I feel good, and I got compliments all day long, which was really fun. Not that compliments are fun, but you know what I mean. Like it's fun to get to talk to people, and it's a way for people to break the ice. So I really, yeah. Anyway, are we done talking about the opera? Maybe. Oh yeah. I don't want to be too loud right now, but yeah, totally. Um, yeah. And traditionally, they never wore microphones. Okay, that's good then. I don't know if they were mic'd up at the Met because it's really impressive either way. The fact that I could hear them crystal clear on the video if they weren't mic'd up. Oh, good. Okay. Well, I don't know. Just because he's singing opera on Britain's Got Talent doesn't mean he's like in the opera also. But maybe he has since become part of it since being on Britain's Got Talent. I don't know. Right? Like, I'm just saying. He might just be doing it, but that doesn't mean he's like on a production of it. Yeah, she was still a great choice. I'm not saying she wasn't a great choice. I just thought it was curious. It's like, oh, you have like a 40-year-old woman playing an 18-year-old girl. Like, okay, use your imagination, I guess. Whatever. She did a great job. Don't care. So, he could be. He could be. But yeah, that was my day. It was fun. It was really fun. Um, the outfits were absolutely stunning, obviously, because it was 1860s Vienna. I was like, damn, why did we stop dressing like that? Even though I love dressing like this, I can like show my shoulders and wear something form fitting, no matter what size I am. People still say I look good, and having fringe and silk and mixing patterns, this is just as fun to me as if I was wearing one of those big dresses, but whatever. So I think I've talked as much opera as I can, so I'm gonna switch back to just chatting. I just thought maybe people would come, I don't know, talk opera with me, but they did. I mean, I appreciate you being here talking opera with me, but we're back to just chatting. So, really fun. I made this rosary that I'm wearing. I made it for my grandparents for Christmas last year, and they both died. So, oh wait, I made it for Christmas 2 years ago. My grandma died last year. My grandpa died this year, so I took it back. Um, we kind of had a rule, like if you gifted it to them, you get to keep it. And I was like, well, I made this rosary, so I guess it's mine. And I'm kind of glad because I don't think I made myself one. They're like these wooden beads. I mean, they feel like wood. I don't know if it's real wood or not. And I got these little like eagle eye glass beads and some just simple crosses. And it's not perfect. Like, I don't know what happened here where this bead kind of keeps sneaking up to that one and getting stuck. I didn't round it out enough, I guess. And I'm not gonna lie, I make them more with speed than precision. They're not really professional grade rosaries. And so people had asked me like, can I buy one? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I never really got back to them about it because I didn't know how much to charge because you can buy a perfectly made rosary for $2. And when it's all evenly spaced and evenly rounded and perfectly done, it's probably made by a machine, I guess. I don't really know. Or my handmade stuff that, the beads get caught. But I guess it's whatever, it's handmade by me. And I select really cool beads and everything like that. So maybe it's worth it to them. I don't know. I would think it takes me about an hour, and the price of materials vary. So, yeah. But I really enjoyed it while I did it, but I kind of lost my lust for life and I stopped enjoying things in general. And I'm actually hoping that streaming gets me back into more creativity. Because there was a moment I was like, oh, I don't smoke weed anymore. That's why I'm not creative. And then there was a second moment where I thought, girl, you were creative before you ever even knew what weed was. So don't use that as an excuse. That's not what's wrong. It's not what's happening. So, you know, doing anything to kind of reconnect with myself and get back to doing as I did. Yeah, I sure am working up an appetite doing this stream, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. I didn't even think I was hungry. I went to dinner after we went to the opera, and then we went to the mall, and then we went to dinner, which wasn't that long ago, but I didn't finish my meal either. So, um, yeah, that's what I'm thinking that I'll do. Probably do it when I'm done streaming. I also was gonna make tea to have on stream. I love drinking tea while I stream, or coffee. Back in the day, I would drink coffee all night long. And I have decaf, so I could have made like a decaf pour over, but I drank an extremely large soda. I'm talking the cup was like this big, like extremely big soda. And then I had a coffee. I had a little bit of coffee this morning, and then my friend brought me a coffee, which I didn't finish it, but cracked open a coconut water, didn't finish that. So I really wanted to have tea, but I was like, yo, we need to focus on water. We need to focus on water. Okay? Let's focus on water. Get our water game up. Get the water game going. Because that's crazy how much soda I drank today. And I refilled it and I didn't drink the second one. I was like, I'll save it. It's gonna be flat by tomorrow, but whatever. Football. Football. Yeah. So yeah. Um Very cool. Very cool. Um yeah, I guess I was really just talking about my day. Wasn't much else on my mind. Didn't really have much of a reason to stream. I just thought I looked cute and I wanted them to be preserved on the internet. What can you do? What are you gonna do? It's funny too because I feel like I don't wear this necklace that much, but I'm pretty sure I was wearing it on my last stream because I wore my Grateful Dead shirt, so I wore this necklace because I bought this at the same show in the same parking lot. But I was doing a red look today, and I was like, it's a perfect fancy red necklace. So that's what I did. Yeah, so how's everybody doing? Good. Good to hear. Good to hear. I also ate a lot of jalapenos and chili oil today. So it's like I'll be hungry and then it turns into like, whoa. Oh shit. I was trying to wait until the next ad break came along. And we technically have 17 minutes until the ad break, but I have to plug in my laptop. So I'm gonna roll the ads now. Which could be helpful if I end up ending the stream soon anyway. Get a little extra money. Anyway, I'll be right back. 3 minutes,